Welcome, my name's Dennis Hogan, and on behalf of the VBA, I would like to welcome you to the National Construction Code 2016 Video Information Session on Volume 1. As you can see, we're now doing our NCC 216 seminars differently this year. This and other videos in this series will be published prior to the seminar roadshows around the state. Those seminars will be run as a Q&A session with a small panel of technical staff from the VBA to answer your questions. So once you have viewed this video and others in the series, we encourage you to forward your questions to the following email address: ncc-seminars2016@vba.vic.gov.au. We will then discuss and answer your questions at the seminars across the state. The schedule for the seminars can be found at the VBA website.
Also, as always, the date for adoption of the new code is May the 1st. This year, May 1 will fall on a Sunday. The major changes to Volume 1 include application and general provisions, ventilation verification method, structural robustness verification method, definition of effective height and timber mid-rise, group number determination, visibility in emergency, farm buildings, stairways and ramps, boilers and pressure vessels.
Please note that we have included the main changes in this presentation. However, there are some other minor changes which have not been included. We've included what we think is important for application in Victoria to this presentation that can be included in the time available. However, something that we haven't included might be important to you. Therefore, as always, please pay attention. A full list of all amendments can be found on the ABCB website, and if you have any questions, please send them through to us so we can answer them at the seminars.
The first change to discuss today relates to AO, the application part at the start of each volume. These changes have been made to clarify that the code is a performance-based code and highlighting the choices available to meet the performance requirements, with an aim of increasing the use of performance. The performance requirements are the only mandatory requirements in the NCC, not the objectives or functional statements deemed to satisfy provisions. So you have a choice to satisfy the performance requirements. Either go down the path of performance solution or a deemed to satisfy solution or a combination of both. The wording of these parts is different. The entire part is rewritten and the clauses have been reordered. But in terms of functionality, AO in 2015 and AO that will be in 2016 is practically the same. It's policy neutral. The changes to AO about identifying the most important part of this diagram, the performance requirements. The performance requirements are the only part of the code that you must comply with. You can demonstrate compliance with the performance requirements using the deemed to satisfy provisions, a performance solution, or a combination of both. But the performance requirements are almost hidden away in this diagram. Once you have taken all the extra information away, you've left with how the NCC actually works. The ABC want to be simple and clear on how to use the NCC, so they've taken away everything that confuses the matter. So they've replaced the old diagram with this one. This diagram makes clear that the performance requirements are what must be met and that this can be achieved via a performance solution, a deemed to satisfy solution, or a combination of both. Therefore, the top level, the performance requirements, is your mandatory compliance level, and the bottom level is the compliance solutions that are the performance solutions or the deemed to satisfy solutions. Just to clarify, these two terms have been amended from the previous terminology. You'll see that performance solutions replaces alternative solutions. This acknowledges that the two terms, for the purpose of the NCC, are equivalent in status. Therefore, a performance solution is not an alternative solution to the deemed to satisfy, more so a valid solution in its own right. The concept of deemed to satisfy provisions has been replaced with the concept of deemed to satisfy solution, so that there is simple consistency between the two solutions. The objectives and functional statements have been taken out of the diagram. They are also out of the code and placed in the guide in Volume 1 and explanatory information in Volume 2. They always have been guidance material, as indicated in the previous diagram. Because they are guidance material, they are now placed alongside other guidance material. AO.4 becomes AO1. AO.5 becomes AO.2. AO.6 now becomes AO.3. AO.7 now becomes AO.4. AO.8 now becomes AO.5. Assessment method provisions are consistent with the intent of the existing code, whereby assessment methods must be used for a performance solution and the assessment method may be used for deemed to satisfy solutions as appropriate. AO.6, this used to be in the introduction. The new AO.7 is a relocation of AO.10. This change has been made to emphasise the choices available to meet the relevant performance requirements. The existing AO.10 implied that the deemed to satisfy must be first considered in order to evaluate the relevant performance requirements. The new AO.7 retains this approach as one option. However, it also allows the determination of the relevant performance requirements without reference to the deemed to satisfy provisions. Explanation of AO.7. When you assess a performance solution report, you are likely to find a table like this one somewhere near the front. This table responds to AO.10, or what in NCC 2016 has been relocated to AO.7b. This is the provision which requires that when a performance solution is designed, then the relevant deemed to satisfy provisions need to be identified as well as the performance requirements relevant to the performance solution. However, it was identified that if a performance requirement was entirely met by a performance solution, there would be no need to list any relevant deemed to satisfy provisions because they would be all covered by the performance solution. So AO.7a was inserted, which removes the need to identify the relevant deemed to satisfy provisions when a performance requirement is met entirely by a performance solution. With the new application part, it is now clearer how to comply with the NCC 2016 and the options available to demonstrate compliance. This was done to help users understand what a performance-based code is and to assist in the use of performance solutions.